My name is Dr. Tyler Lanning. My business is Miami Valley Spine and Joint, and we are established in Bellbrook, Ohio. The most rewarding part of being a local business owner would probably number one be my relationships that I've established within the community. Been practicing for about over 10 years now. Some of those relationships have turned into lifelong friendships, and a lot of those relationships have opened doors for me that I would have never experienced if I wouldn't have been a local business owner. Second part of that would probably be showing my kids that I can succeed in the local community. I think that's pretty important to me, just showing that taking a leap of faith and doing what you want to do and loving it and being successful at it is a risk, but it has a very rewarding backside too. I would say there's quite a few common misconceptions about my industry. The first one would be that we're all the same. And I would tell you, if anybody's been in under care, chiropractic care, or physical therapy care, or any healthcare at all, there is no one concise census that fits the parameters of every single person. And I think that's something that we really pride ourselves on, is being different. One thing that I really try to promote on my business is I want to see people get better and get out of my office. I think that's a misconception within and around my industry, is people think that they sometimes need to return to care. What I see happening with those patients is they see the value and the benefit of the care, and they come back and seek that care because it helps with their lifestyle. Not so much that it's never-ending care, it's they see a different side of a benefit of care. That's a good question. How do I define success for my business today? Well, first thing I'd say, succeeding in 2026 is that success in and of itself. The third or second part of that I would probably say is, I've been practicing for 10 years. I think getting over that first 5-year hump is probably the hardest. You're learning, and I still learn every single day at 10 years in practice. Trying to navigate each and every year differently, because it's never changing, or it's never ending. It always is changing, I should say it that way. There's never a consistent same pattern of year to year. For my business, it's kind of a learn and trial and error and adapting and overcoming that. So challenges I see my business overcoming and where am I seeing myself in 5 years? Currently, it's just growth. We are preparing for a large growth in our business. It's happening. It's been happening for the past probably I'd say 3 or 4 years. We have recently purchased a property here within Bellbrook, and we have a design plan to lay out and continue a build to grow our practice. In 5 years, I would love to see ourselves already established and moved into that practice and be flourishing in that. It's happening very fast and very quickly, so holding on for dear life and riding the ride is a fun experience. But from 5 years now, I'd love to see that being done and more than likely being able to have a staple of the community of I'm being to give back, whether that be as a monetary aspect, educational aspect for local community students and people, or even trying to create community events. That would be ideal in 5 years. My one piece of advice to an aspiring entrepreneur: jump. Literally, you may not have all the answers right away. You will definitely get them on your way down of learning how to fly, but you're never going to succeed. You're never going to get started unless you automatically just make that first step and do it. I didn't have all the answers when I first started. I thought I had a lot of them. Still finding answers in today, and that's part of navigating just a business as an entrepreneur in a local small business. But I think always the best piece of advice is just do it. I mean, your worst case scenario is no and it fails. Your best case scenario is it's even greater than what you thought it was. So. Kind of goes back to that 5 years down the road question on how I see my business impacting the community. Ideally, I would love to end up with some sort of educational aspect for the community and students to come in and get a hands-on experience on what a local healthcare, small business healthcare system looks like, and prepping them for the further education on what they want to do. I think that is the basis. I think the second part of that is going to be something I'm going to learn and explore newly as myself, because I think AI is going to adapt into my business at some point. And I think that's something in about 5 years, 7 years down the road. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I know that that's going to have a huge impact locally on a community and any small business in and of itself. Local collaboration, what it means for my business is partnering with any other small businesses in our community and doing something for the greater good. For example, there's a lot of local collaborations that I do that I don't ask or take credit for. One of them is I give scholarships out to some of the local kids, and the person that's running this, they have a name front for it, and I ask to not be involved in it, and I just give the donation, and we end up picking a local student that has met the criteria on what we've individually have selected. And that's something we've been doing for the past 2-3 years. I think we're going on our 4th year now. We have scholarship money up now up to almost $7,000, and we're expecting it to exceed $10,000 for a student. So we're kind of in the muddle area of, do we want to split the money or really pick somebody and just give them that full amount? But that's something that I would say local collaboration. We also tend to try and do family Christmases, where we adopt a family for Christmas, and we basically take their needs of what they need locally, and we try to supply and meet all those needs for them and give them as much as we possibly can. How do I seek feedback from my local customer base? This is something that I implemented a long time ago. Anybody that knows my business knows I really don't do a lot of marketing. Honestly, a lot of my businesses rely on self-referrals or patient referrals, and that is what has been thriving my business for probably the last 5 to 7 years. Basically, what I ask my patients is, if they always communicate to me that they were so thankful for my care, I say the best form of a thank that you could give me is telling somebody else. One thing I hope to achieve for the community through what I do is creating a point of access. I may not have all the answers, but I would love to be something to where people know, like, hey, listen, if you don't have an answer, you can call him and he will find you an answer. An example of a successful local partnership that I've been a part of, I would probably go back to saying the scholarship that we've created and started with a bunch of the local small businesses just in the Bellbrook community, and that scholarship directly goes into benefits a Bellbrook student. I've done scholarships with the chamber before, and it's a very vague process, and the school has a very vague process of how you would select students. They basically just fill out a form, and we would go through it and see who actually attempted to do the most effort to it. What we decided to do was create a scholarship that molds a student that holds what we would say business ideas, a good representation of the community, and has values, something that we definitely look for with that. And all of the business owners, I want to say there is now 5 or 6 of us that are doing this. We all have the same value or core selections, and it tended to be around that thing. Values, were they a good, outstanding citizen? Did they help within the community already without being asked? And then, what was their support system like at home? And so that program, I would call it a program because it's exponentially growing within the few years that we've started it. I think it's going to end up being something the community really rallies around. Passion and interests that I have outside of my business. A lot and a few, I would say that. I really love spending time with my kids. Can't think of that enough. Spending time with family is a big one, just with as much as I spend doing this and running the business. Even though I'm not technically treating patients, there's so many other things that go into running the business that take up my quality of time. The second part of that, if I'm not with my family, that you'll catch me outside. It's hard to keep me indoors. It's hard to work indoors all day, especially for someone like me, but I love being outside, whether it be hunting, fishing, recreational hiking, anything that requires you to be outside, I would be down and fully